live on YouTube channel and also on the Facebook page, El Paso History Radio Show, and streaming live on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When. And this is the place where we say, you want to say it? Texas history begins in El Paso. And that's Melissa Sargent. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, everyone. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, we got a house full of people we'll talk to in just a minute. And let's see, what do you got over there?
I was going to say that people can also listen to us via streaming live on the internet via KTSMradio.com, where you'll be connected automatically to iHeartRadio, and you can listen to this show anywhere there's an internet service.
And that's the standard link we've had for quite some time. Now, do we have a history moment?
Yes, we do. It's the greatest actress, Sarah Bernhardt, goes jewelry shopping in what is with bad consequences.
Oh, dear. That could be something to deal with.
She was a character. I'd like to have known her.
A lot of people in the past would be interesting. The El Paso Symphony Orchestra. We have the operations manager, Rosemary Flores. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome here.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
And Dr. James Welsch, I think you go by Jim or James?
James,
welcome here. You're the assistant conductor, and you're the director of the El Paso Youth Symphony Orchestra as well. And these people are here as our guests to talk about the symphony's history and explain their programs and maybe talk about music in general and a few other things. Because, James, you've got a whole lot of paper there that we could just read through from top to bottom. It looks pretty good there. But also, I think the one thing to include is the fact that the El Paso Symphony is the longest continuously running symphony in Texas. Isn't that right?
That's correct.
still a moniker we hold to very dearly.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
90 years. I mean, there are plenty of orchestras throughout the state of Texas and across the country, certainly, who have existed far longer. But in terms of continually running, that is, without any interruptions, once having begun the work and really starting to build a huge foundation for a local symphony, the El Paso Symphony is it at 90 years.
And the history goes deep, and it's an interesting history you have. Tell us more about this.
Sure. So I'm not going to completely sign it all over to Rosemary, who did a recent deep dive during the pandemic and looking over all of the materials that we could find in regards to the El Paso Symphony. But she has really taken on the moniker of the EPSO historian, and probably she could get us started off by talking about some of the earlier days, and I'll come in and interject here.
Well, we'll just start with the beginning. I mean, certainly there were many attempts to start a symphony that date back to the 1920s, even further back.
Yeah.
But it was established in 1930, and it all started with it all came together with a conductor, H. Arthur Brown, who was from Juilliard. He went to NMSU. Back then, I don't think it was called it.
No.
But he was pulled in to work there. And one of the stipulations he had with his contract at Juilliard was that he had to conduct a symphony.
I think we have a picture of him that we can put up.
Yeah. And so he,
Arthur Brown.
H. Arthur Brown. Right. I think, well, no, that's Orlando Barrera. There we go. That's
He's
H. Arthur
holding
Brown.
the violin. Yeah.
Right.
almost as if it were
Leave him up a little bit.
So he met with some of the locals here in El Paso that were starting a symphony here or wanting to, and signed him up. And that's kind of sort of how the symphony began. And then, Carl Weiler, KTSM.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He was a clarinet player, and he had just started his station, right, in 1928.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was 1929, but you said 1928. And he was broadcasting the symphonies, the El Paso Symphony, which was performing at the Scottish Rite Temple. No.
Okay.
He was actually, yes, the Paso del Norte Hotel.
Mhm.
From up there?
Yeah. And Lawrence Roderick heard him. And we all know who Lawrence Roderick is. He was a publisher of the El Paso Times.
Roderick as in Krod.
Right. And sorry about that. I'm turning. And he heard one of the broadcasts, and he loved music. He was a singer himself. And he heard it, ran over to the Scottish Rite Temple, and then met with them and said, I am going to help establish the El Paso Symphony. And that was our beginning, 1930s.
Yeah, in the official capacity, as we had mentioned, there's a lot of gray area going back into the 1890s, whereby there were plenty of well-intentioned and well-meaning folk who wanted an elevated experience in terms of entertainment. And there were music societies, the McGinty Club, probably going back into the 1892-93 era, was a band of boys, wanted to put some things together, and so they taught themselves instruments and learned pieces, and everybody was really excited about it. But things didn't always stick for the El Paso Symphony. It was hard. It was passed from club to club, even to high schools and teachers to try to put things together. The reviews that we can go back into the El Paso Herald and beyond are always very congratulatory. There are lots of lists of what they played, and it was very well and varied. But nobody was able to actually support it in the long term in the way of donations, and so that's why it sort of hobbled a little bit until we reached this period. Another word about H. Brown here. He came here from Juilliard, but he said, "I'll come from Juilliard if I can start an orchestra." And so he wanted something to do with his time other than just teach. And so that's why he ended up here. And that's why they went as far as they did to establish something that was
That's
more,
it's Mr. Brown again.
yes,
Yeah.
All right.
something that was more assured for him. Rosemary?
Right. And so H. Arthur Brown was the conductor until 1951.
Wow.
And yeah, for a long time. And then we moved on to Orlando Barrera. He was our next conductor, and he was our conductor from 1951 to 1972. And he's from Italy. And he came here, and he was a very charming man. People really liked him. And he was kind of he started our young people's concerts, which are 81 years old too, where we've been performing for fifth graders since back then. And the children just loved him. He was just very well liked, and unfortunately he passed away here in El Paso. And we moved on to this gentleman called William Kirschke, who
How do you spell that?
Kirschke, it's Kirshke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
there's some gossip about him.
Oh dear. What is
He was
it?
only here for like 3 years. James can tell you a little more about that.
Well, I don't want to light people up after they're well gone. But not every person who's a part of any organization sticks around for 20 some odd years or what have you. And of course, if we're talking about musicians, if we're talking about artistic folk, I'm sure there's a scandal or two. And Kirschke was around just long enough to create one or two of those, and then we moved on. So we'll not talk about the black sheep because I'm sure he was a great conductor.
Sure he
but
was.
us musicians,
Temperamental.
exactly.
Well, Melissa, I think you had some of the earliest history back in the 1890s.
Yeah,
you
with
said?
the women's club, they were much like the old saying goes that they were the men settled El Paso, but the women civilized it.
Right.
And the women's club was one that was very much involved with their music clubs to begin with, the culture groups, and they did a lot of work in music programs in the schools. In fact, they Kate Moore Brown. I don't think she's related to the conductor.
Mhm.
She brought the public music programs into public schools, which they'd never had. She was a teacher, and she was very popular in town. But she brought that program, and that was through the women's club also.
Mhm.
Well,
And so,
describe the women's club a little bit.
well, the women's club is, how can I explain it? It was a grouping of women that started in the early 1880s, and finally started off as the culture club, and then basically turned into the women's club in the turn of the century.
But El Paso itself was kind of wild.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is you built that through that area, and you had it. They were a settlement. They were women that came from back east. There wasn't a lot of social programs here like
things,
they
yeah.
had back east.
Right.
So they started their own, but mostly it was just a culture club to educate other women, teach them more. Didn't have libraries at that time and such. So this was just a way for women to get together, get to know each other, and support each other in a town where they're far away from I kind of understood that when I moved here from California, that it's way away from everybody else, way different climate here in El Paso than it is than anywhere else in the country.
Mhm.
So it was kind of a support group, and from there, but they also went out beyond just their borders and went into the community, did things for the community because they knew if they built the community, that would help, not only them but also other people coming up
Right.
of all different types of nationalities and races.
So as
Absolutely.
you take a look at the history of El Paso, you do find all kinds of interesting flavors of things going on. And the symphony is not something we really focused on very much. But
Yeah.
since you guys were available, it would sound like a good idea here. So we got you here for a couple of hours talking about this. And it's an interesting, to me, part of El Paso's legacy of things that have gone on that people, there's so many things that people just don't know about.
Right.
And this is kind of one of them. So I'm going to ask you guys to keep explaining and expanding on what it is that you are and who you are. And James, again, you're assistant conductor, but also you are the Youth Symphony Orchestra.
That's right. So, assistant conductor with the El Paso Symphony. So I usually do lots of those young people's concerts, pop style concerts, 4th of July, so on and so forth, movie music, live and concert, that sort of stuff. But I'm also the music director and general manager of the El Paso Symphony Youth Orchestras, of which we have 4. We have a chamber music program, and it has existed in its current state for 15 years now.
2005.
Yeah. So that was begun by Benjamin Loeb, who actually has a very famous pop singer, Lisa Loeb, as a sister. Anyway, Benjamin Loeb, great pianist, all around great guy, conducting pedagogue. He started this along with Ruth Jacobson back in 2005. And then shortly thereafter, a native son of El Paso, Andres Moran, came back from studying over in East Texas and was here for about 8 years. And I've been here for 5. Before this, we had young people in music programs as association or with an association with the symphony. And that was run by Abraham Chavez. Abraham Chavez had a youth orchestra, and many of the people who play in the El Paso Symphony played in that youth orchestra. And they remember him quite fondly.
Take a moment and describe the theater, because not everybody.
So we play in one of 2, typically 1 for the El Paso Symphony, both for the youth orchestras or wherever they won't push us out, whatever can hold the most people sometimes. We like to put on spectacles on occasion. But we play both in the Plaza Theater after its remodeling. When was that?
Jeez, that was
Goodness.
2000. When did they reopen the plaza? Was it 2005?
I'm trying to remember.
2003?
It was I think you're right, about 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
And
But interestingly, the Plaza Theater also opened in 1930.
Yes.
So
That's
it
true.
dates back 90 years, like the El Paso Symphony.
1930 was a letter year for
It sure was
of
for
El
El
Paso.
Paso.
And considering in the middle of a depression.
oh,
Right?
yeah.
Oh
So-
yeah,
We were
Yeah.
just close to coming to the end, but still, it was still hard
Right.
times.
Right.
a lot of things worked, a lot of things didn't, but that the Plaza Theater obviously did.
Well, and that became the El Paso Symphony Orchestra's permanent home once it was remodeled. Before that, it had a home at the Abraham Chavez Theater. And prior to that, they played at Liberty Hall, sometimes
Mhm.
at
The Scottish Rite
The
Temple.
Scottish Rite
where
The
we
Women's
started,
Club,
the
yeah.
Women's Club.
Yeah.
basically wherever they could find space to do so.
Being bigger they got, the harder it was too for space at that time.
Absolutely.
Right.
All right, we're gonna take a break here and come back, and maybe we'll take a look at that the picture we have of the Plaza Theater. Great backdrop.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's a fabulous place there. All right, Andrew, have you taken a look at any of the social media gone on yet? You got a couple of things.
Oh, yeah, we got a lot of people chiming in right now from across the country. In fact, here today, we had Mark Flores wishing us good morning, Marjorie Ravelas Benton from Northeast El Paso, Monica Cervantes from Las Cruces, and then getting further afield, Angie Salazar coming in from Colorado, B.D. Burdett also saying good morning. And then we had Michelle from Fredericksburg, Virginia, also noting that she is a former violin student of Wesley Raddick and Naomi Hill. And then Anthony, New Mexico, Tucson, whole lot of people chiming in this morning.
And that's Andrew J. Polk. He is Monday through Friday talk show host on Talk El Paso, right here on AM 690. And we're going to take a break and come back. I guess we could put the phone number out if you have
Yeah.
a symphony
I bet
related.
there's some kids that have been, either influenced or played within the orchestra.
Yeah, it'd
over
be
the
interesting.
years.
Here's some experiences from
Oh, yeah.
from people.
Okay. Call us at 915-544-5876 or 915-544-KTSM.
Monterey Asset Management is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, maybe you should invest in real estate. Monterey Asset manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the new website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca, 915-592-4549, 592-4549.
Ready to win cash? Yes! It's $1,000. A grand in your hand.
Oh my God!
Win $1,000 every hour. At least 12 chances every weekday. A grand in your hand. Your chance to win is on the way.
A Grand in Your Hand is brought to you by the Charlie Clark Automotive Group.
Listen, could Robert change your life?
At the age of 55, I started putting on weight, and I got to the weight of about 210 pounds. Always hungry. The heavier I got, the less energy I had. And about 6 months ago, I started taking the Andro 400, and I started realizing I had more energy. I felt better, and my mind was clearer, and I started losing weight. I went from my max weight was 215, and now I'm down to 176. My waist size has dropped from a 38 to a 32, and I've lost these big love handles I had on my side, and I just look a lot slimmer.
Since 2004, Andro 400 has helped men lose belly fat, gain energy, and to look and feel their best. Go to andro400.com for more true testimonials, before and after photos, and special discounts. Only available on andro400.com. andro400.com.
Beautiful, top quality, long-lasting dental implants as low as $19.95 at 1995implants.com. The El Paso Dental Office, where implants are affordable. Other places charge $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, up to $6,000 per tooth. Please do not pay that much. Please do come to 1995implants.com, where our price is much lower, as low as $1,995 per tooth, including the implant, abutment, and crown, which many other places charge extra for. Plus, at 1995implants.com, we also offer a free consultation, free standard x-rays, and very convenient payment options. Now's the time to get rid of your cracked teeth, missing teeth, or loose, old, wobbly dentures and get the beautiful new smile that you want at a very affordable price. 1995implants.com. For more information, see our website, 1995implants.com. That's 1995implants.com. Se habla español.
This holiday season, don't buy the can, buy the box to help support those in need in our community. In this most wonderful and generous time of year, instead of donating canned goods, give directly to our local El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank, where $1 can mean 7 meals to help end hunger for our neighbors. Do the most good by donating directly, where less than $14 can buy the box to feed a local child for a whole month, or increase your donation to cover them for the entire year. Visit ElPasoansFightingHunger.org today to support your community. Buy the box.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. By Monterey Asset Management. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino, with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
As you know, we are the El Paso History Radio Show on Facebook. You can go there for our weekly promos, and I think we had almost 7,000 people reached on the promo this week. That's a lot of
Just
folks.
a little short of 7,000.
7,000. Anyway, we have announcements of the topics in the program each week there, and also we have a TV channel that you need to take a look at. That TV channel has free videos about El Paso history, and it is on YouTube, and it is youtube.com. Go there and then search El Paso History TV. And the El Paso Gold DVDs that I have been producing for the last 20 years are now online there, about a dozen of them, so you can view those free, youtube.com/El Paso History TV. Also, there's a playlist there of segments that I put on to KVIA, and these were segments that had pretty much a look at 20 segments, a look all around El Paso. They actually ran them in the newscasts, and which is kind of unusual for a local TV station to put an outside producer on with that. So we did that, and Andrew was involved in that, and Bernie Sargent was involved in that. And those are also archived, youtube.com/El Paso History TV. And they got comments out there. Take a look at some of that stuff and see what you think about that. What do you got?
Well, I want everybody to come out and celebrate Dia de los Muertos in the Concordia Cemetery today. It'll be from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. In fact, you'll see me sitting at the front gate demanding money as you come in the gate. No, I'll be there in costume with Six Guns and Shady Ladies. And this exciting one-day event features revelers dressed in Dia de los Muertos costumes, altaras, decorated graves of faith. I ran my line there. Decorated graves, face painters, tarot card reader, arts and crafts, and much more. They're going to have all kinds of great things. Six Guns of Shady Ladies will perform today. We'll have Mohiganda puppets around roaming the cemetery. There'll be fire dancers, storytelling, just some really cool things. And it's only $5. Children 6 and under are free. And you can join in the fun and dress as a Calaca Sora Catrina. So you want more information, go to concordiacemetery.org and you'll find more information there. But yeah, come out and see us and say hi. I expect you all there in the audience.
Oh, yeah, everybody has to show up.
Well, it's a great fundraiser for Concordia Heritage Association.
Hope it works out. And we're now talking about the El Paso Symphony Orchestra. And Rosemary Flores is here and James Welsch. And we were talking about the what it looks like in the Plaza Theater. I want to see that photo because we for those of you who are on radio and you're not seeing the pictures, well, guess what? It's still radio. But we also stream this on these other Facebook areas. Now, tell me about the background there. Who cooked that up? Is that something that's part of the Plaza stock?
No, that is a shell, a symphony shell, and it. You can put it up and then you take it away, and it's specifically used for the El Paso Symphony. And I am not sure who came up with that design. The background.
That's a great view of the mountain.
It's mountains. It's beautiful. I think Janice Wendell and maybe Paul Foster had something to do with that.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah, those are our Franklin Mountains right there in the back. And for just about every symphony concert, we would use this backdrop, which actually with all of the sort of ambient lighting, even the little stars in the sky at the top, it really lends itself to quite one of the more unique performing venues in the state of Texas, certainly.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I would say it's comparable to San Antonio over there as well. They have a very unique
Majestic Theater.
Have you ever performed? I think you have, or not you specifically, but in the past, has been performed in the McElligin Canyon.
Yes,
I always think that was it's got a great sounding back there, and that's why I was wondering.
It's a beautiful backdrop. We actually had a performance there as a fundraiser when the El Paso Symphony toured, and they went on a Germany tour with Guerrero Eichel.
Oh yeah.
And they needed to raise some funds. And so we had a fundraising concert at McElligin Canyon. It was beautiful.
Isn't that cool?
Spectacular.
We spend so much time and energy and money and resources trying to emulate nature. Sometimes it's really nice to just go to a bunch of rocks and play there and not have to spend, millions of dollars. Nonetheless, we've done what we can. We've got a really beautiful theater and we love playing in the Plaza Theater. Certainly. The youth orchestras also play in the Chavez Theater as well. Which is a really sublime acoustic as well.
Great places there.
Great.
And the what do we have up here? There's an aerial.
It's my hat.
Take a look at that. That's the Abraham Chavez Theater, and it does look like a hat.
And it was named after the symphony conductor Abraham Chavez Jr.
Talk
who's
about
a native El Pasoan, and he became the conductor in 1975. He was a conductor for 17 years, but he actually was a violinist, and he started playing with the El Paso Symphony when he was 13 years old.
Oh my!
Yeah,
then he prodigy, right?
Right, a prodigy violinist, and he was a concert master of the El Paso Symphony for I think it was 1947 to 1966.
Forever.
Yeah, and then he left and he went to Colorado. I think Boulder.
He got a job at a university. And went to teach up there, and then he wasn't away for very long.
No.
In fact, he came right back to El Paso
and became the conductor.
That's right.
For 17 years,
Yeah.
and when he retired, the building was named after him.
I got an opportunity to meet him a few years back before he passed, and it was just a really very interesting man.
What are some highlights of his career? I mean, he had a number of things, I'm sure.
Well, you know what he was really responsible for was it takes a symphony a long time to establish its roots, number one, as we've already noted, even peripherally here. But what he was able to do was take the best things about being an El Paso and being from this area, understanding these people, and building on that early tradition and really establishing a quality of performance for the El Paso Symphony that maybe probably hadn't taken foot prior to that. We had had several other music directors, and this long tenure with Abraham Chavez Jr., he was very well liked. He was very well respected. He had played not only the role of conductor, but prior to that, he had been a musician in the symphony. So he had everybody pulling for him. And he also was responsible for building a tremendous part of our library. That is the types of repertoire and pieces that the El Paso Symphony would be accustomed to playing. Not unlike any other symphony across the world, but it takes time to build that repertoire, to teach those pieces, learn that music, and really get accustomed to playing with one another. I think that's probably one of the highlights of the El Paso Symphony history, because it really came from somebody from here, understood how that orchestra worked, really took part in it inside the orchestra, and then became not only a figurehead but the leader of that organization. Yeah, very, very well liked, and still has reach to many of the musicians who play in the El Paso Symphony today, as they were his students back in those days.
Interesting history there. I get to another break here on the El Paso History Radio Show, and it's an interesting story on, as we mentioned, on integral part of El Paso history, the El Paso Symphony Orchestra. We'll get more of that in a minute. We've got Felipa Solis on hold. We'll talk to her after the break. How we do that? All right, back with the History Show. We're back in just a moment.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC 7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug. It's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Are you obsessed with true crime? Join Leah Lamar and Teddy Mellencamp for Real Time Crime, an iHeartRadio original podcast dedicated to armchair detectives. Embark on a quest to unravel unsolved mysteries and delve into current criminal trials in real time.
Why do I obsess over true crime? It's because I need to know every detail, because they say that the devil's in the details.
Listen to Real Time Crime on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Brought to you by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo.
Hey, El Paso and surrounding areas. Are you ready for some savings? Ivan Ochoa, General Manager from Sunland Park, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat. Right now, we are paying top dollar for all trades, plus 0% financing for 72 months on several models. There's never been a better time to trade or upgrade for less.
During Jeep Adventure Days, Sunland Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat will take any trade in any condition, regardless of make or model, car, truck, or SUV. We want it, even if you owe up to $10,000 more than your old car is worth, so you can drive home a new or certified pre-owned vehicle for less. Plus, save thousands in interest with 0 APR for 72 months. Plus, save thousands at the all-new Sun Park Dodge Certified Pre-Owned Super Center. Our inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs has never been better. All military personnel and all first responders receive an additional discount. Thank you for your service. Sun Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. We're buying a car is fun at I-10 at Sun Park Drive or online at sunparkdodge.com. Estamos en tu esquina, El Paso Strong. Includes factory rebate and dealer discount plus TTNL. 0 APR is $13.72 per thousand finance on select vehicles with approved credit. Offers not combined.
Hey, I'm billion-dollar broker Ryan Serhant, and I'm here to tell you that my very, very popular and successful podcast, Big Money Energy, is returning for Season 2 on October 25th. So subscribe now. Season 2 features conversations with some of the smartest people in the world, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Ben Baller, Rebecca Minkoff, Jenny Fleiss, and more. Listen to Big Money Energy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. By Monterey Asset Management. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
That would be my name. Here I am. And you need to know about the celebration of our mountains. Join them and bring your 4x4. I think that's a vehicle of some kind. And it's not a math problem. And learn about more about the minerals of Tonuco Mountain. That's tomorrow, Sunday the 7th, and next Saturday the 13th. You can get an introduction to the Rio Bosque Wetlands Park. Finally, on Sunday the 14th, enjoy fall colors in McKittrick Canyon. That's in the Guadalupe Mountains. Or hike and learn from some El Paso history by going to the crash site of the March 1944 B-24 crash site up on the mountain. Interesting thing about airplane history, a lot of it in El Paso has about crash sites.
Yeah, well, part of it. I mean, anywhere you're going to go, you have
you
crash
missed the
sites near
runway
airports.
by 3 miles. But anyway, for more information about times and places, visit celebrationofourmountains.org. That's an interesting thing.
Please do patronize our advertisers. They're so wonderful to support this show. Pepe's Restaurant, which is home of the one and only margarita, is located at 6761 Donovan Drive, and you can call them for your holiday party catering at 915-877-2152. Need a company to manage your rental properties? Then call Monterey Asset Management, 915-592-4549, or visit their website, m1ep.com. Or if you're looking to sell or buy a home, then you need to contact Patrick Tuttle, a top producing realtor with Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate. I'm sorry, it's a brand new name for him. Give Patrick a call today at 915-588-1850.
A lot of things going on there with those people. Those are good folks. We have Rosemary Flores in here, and she is the operations manager, El Paso Symphony Orchestra, Dr. James, otherwise known as just James Welsch. And you have a couple of titles, but that's cool. We'll just call you James. And also, you have a performance coming up here, I believe, with the Pro Musica. Hey, guess who's here? It's Felipa Solis. Good morning.
Good morning. It's wonderful to talk to all of you. Missing you all. Rosemary, one of my favorite people, James Welsch. What an artist we have in this region. He is incredible. And what he's done with children, with instruments, especially during the pandemic, is truly just overwhelming. And it's an honor and joy to always work along the El Paso Symphony Orchestra. Very quickly, though, with Abraham Chavez, I've been listening, and he was such a wonderful human being. On Saturdays, he would get together with his musician friends like Michael Goldman and Lawrence Gibson and some of the late greats like Joe Gelb, who was a violist, who was originally from New York. And they would do chamber music every Saturday. And as a nerdy kid, I would go every Saturday to listen to them in somebody's house, have coffee and cake, and they would just jam out. It was incredible, circa 1976.
That had to be unusual.
Oh, it was amazing. Also in 1971, when we moved here from El Paso, my parents had the Spanish dance company, Antonio Triana, Rita Triana, and we did, my very first time on a stage was at Liberty Hall, which is now, yeah. And Plácido Domingo was the special guest artist for the El Paso Symphony Orchestra, and I got to dance on stage for the first time at 11 years old with Plácido Domingo and the El Paso Symphony Orchestra.
Well, you mentioned something interesting there. A lot of people don't know about it. What people now think of Liberty Hall, that's where you go to get on jury duty.
Yeah,
that's correct.
That's right.
Could you describe Liberty Hall of the old days? You have a pretty good memory of it, it sounds like.
Well, you know what it was, and James will agree with me here. There were these halls that had such tremendous acoustics, and it was just this theater that was. It wasn't out of the ordinary to me. We had moved here from California. We were in LA where there were concerts at the Greek Theater and places like this. But Liberty Hall was a good size, incredible acoustics. And I remember moving to El Paso. The first week I was at Mesita School, we had a field trip to Liberty Hall. That was actually my first time there, where the young people's concerts was happening. And I believe William Kirschke was the conductor. And that was at Liberty Hall. We were in fourth grade, and those were the kids who used to get to experience it. But it was a wonderful theater, not small by any means, but incredible acoustics.
Isn't that where they put the parking lot on that site?
I think so.
Yeah, when they reorganized the county building, right behind it is the parking lot. I think that's where it was.
Still great acoustics in the parking lot.
Oh yeah,
I think in those parking garages are one of,
I'm there, I snap my fingers, and I'm like, we're good here.
Well, a bit of trivia about the Liberty Hall. When they first opened that back late 1800s, people used to have to bring their own chairs to listen to the concerts in Liberty Hall. And everybody kept complaining, going, could you afford some chairs? You know?
or you could get reserved seats then for I think about 50 cents.
Oh, God,
what
that
amounted
was a
to
lot of
50
money.
cents.
That's a lot of money back in those days.
That's true.
Right.
Well, Felipe, you've also had Pro Musica, and you have a date coming up in January with these guys. Tell us about
Yes,
that.
we do. And we're super excited. We've had this collaboration for many years. And it's really, truly wonderful because we get an opportunity to have our January Chamber Music Festival with El Paso Pro Musica, and then spend a week with El Paso Symphony Orchestra in the January collaboration concert. And this year, it is going to feature our artistic director, Zool Bailey, who is our Grammy Award-winning cellist. And of course, he is celebrating 20 years with El Paso Pro Musica. So that's going to be a truly remarkable, very, very special celebration in 2022. And with him, he will be doing the incomparable Brahms double, and he'll be performing with the amazing violinist Helen Kim. And that is January 21st and 22nd at the Plaza Theater. And it's a remarkable piece of music. The evening is always so very special because I'm the kind of person, I share well with others, and I believe that collaboration is the key to incredible success, especially with the arts, and especially after everything we've been through with the pandemic, where theaters were closed and we had to kind of sit there, scratch our heads, and figure out how to make music come alive. And with that said, now that we can share it together, it makes it even more special.
Yeah, the pandemic basically has turned a lot of people upside down in what they're doing.
Right.
It's amazing. And so, Felipe, you guys are going to, again, what's the date in January?
January 21st and 22nd. Is that right, Rosemary?
That's correct. Yeah. And on
Excellent.
the program is also Tchaikovsky Symphony Number 5.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Interesting stuff
So
there.
It's going to be a great
That's going to
program.
be great.
And like Felipe was saying, collaborations are just so important, you know. And just in October, we had a wonderful collaboration with El Paso Pro Musica, UTIP Music Department, El Paso Opera to
neat.
present the El Paso Requiem.
That is great.
Interesting stuff there. Well, Felipe, as always, good to talk to you. Thank you for ringing up.
Wonderful talking to all of you. A great big virtual radio hug from here. And as we say, the show must go on. On with the show. James, Rosemary, you're remarkable. Jackson, what can I say? And
Thank
Melissa, we appreciate all you do for El Paso.
Thank
you.
Thank
You
you
too.
for allowing me to join
Philippa
you.
Solis,
Bye-bye.
thanks for joining us. You take her easy.
Bye-bye.
Interesting history there as well, because she's been around a bit. She
Oh.
was an anchor, of course, on
She was.
KTSM
Mary
television.
Sunshine. That's what
Yes,
her
she
name is. Mary Sunshine.
You know, I think,
She's everywhere.
the interesting names that she got back in the day.
She's great. She's
all right.
always working with the El Paso Symphony Youth Orchestra too, to bring their artists and to visit with our kids at the Youth Symphony and Taekwondo, and so it's a wonderful collaboration.
Let's
for
take a
sure.
break here and come back in a minute and talk some about the kind of things you all are doing with trying to get the youth tuned into this whole thing, because I don't think we've covered much of that at all, really, generally speaking. Just hit a note. James, you doing okay?
I'm great.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Fair enough.
I want to hear about your program that you did during the pandemic. What you were doing.
Yeah, all kinds of neat stuff you guys have been pulling off. All right. Again, taking a break here on the El Paso History Radio Show. Andrew, what have you got in there in the way of people?
Oh, a lot of people tuning in. Larry Kendrick from Las Cruces, Maria A. Barragan, Gloria Pena, and Michael Pata letting us know that particularly that picture we had up earlier that will pop up here in just a second of the backdrop from the symphony performance there, the symphony shell, as we put it. He was saying that backdrop is impressive, but what was more impressive and spectacular was the El Paso Symphony during the recent Requiem performance.
Oh, yeah. You can imagine the performance was something else. And that's a nice picture of the mountain.
It is.
It really is good.
I just noticed one. I don't know if you mentioned this already, Andrew. It was Michelle Cheshire, I think, from Good Morning from Fredericksburg, Virginia, former violin student of Wesley Hadrick and Naomi Hill.
Oh, I think we mentioned that. Yeah.
Did you mention that one already?
Yeah. Fair
Wow.
enough. All right. Shall we take a break? All right. Back in a moment on the El Paso History Radio Show.
Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina serves the old Griggs Mexican food recipes in a new location at 6761 Doniphan Drive. Enjoy great New Mexican food with cold beer and the Juan and only margarita from the cantina. The managers and cooks from the original Griggs restaurant serve tacos, combination plates, and sopapillas. Get the best Mexican food in the valley at Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina, 6761 Doniphan, near Loop 375. Call 877-2152.
Radio advertising can connect your business with holiday shoppers wherever they go. Use iHeart Ad Builder to create an affordable custom radio ad right on your phone. Just click, listen, approve, then hear it on the radio. Create your customized ad today at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2073. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today and call 800-575-2073. That's 800-575-2073. Or you can visit us online at tra.com.
After months of hibernation, it's time for a celebration. The Junior League of El Paso presents a Christmas fair, November 5th through 7th at the El Paso Convention Center. For 48 years, this tradition has been an El Paso favorite. Great shopping, hundreds of merchants, delicious food, special events, and photos with Santa. It's the sweetest time of the year. All proceeds benefit the community projects of the Junior League of El Paso. Tickets on sale now. Visit achristmasfair.com for all the details.
Your life, your hopes, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m. It's really none of our business, and it shouldn't be anyone else's. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Extreme mood swings, substance abuse, change in sleeping habits, avoiding friends, family, and the things you used to love, suicidal thoughts. These are just a few of the signs of mental illness, and if you or someone you know is experiencing them, research says that talking about mental health has the power to make a person suffering feel less isolated, and we all deserve that. Go to iHeartRadio.com/talk for tips on how to start the conversation. This has been brought to you by NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and iHeartMedia.
El Paso's News Radio, 690 KTSM.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. By Monterey Asset Management. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
We are talking about the El Paso Symphony and all the parts that it has. And there's a lot of moving parts to this thing, apparently. We'll get more into the details on that. But I want to let you know that we have Rick Kern is having he does a music podcast called Talk and Rock Radio, and he basically promotes a lot of El Paso history in music. So you can go to Talk and Rock Radio, and he's on the show next week with Terry Manning, and there's a legend and a real real legend right there. So what do you got?
Well, the holidays will be here for you know it. Mission Del Rey has 15% off deal for in-store and online purchases now through Christmas. Use this coupon code El Paso Gifts. It's all one word. And when you check out either in the store or when shopping online at missiondelrey.com, the store's 1,200 square foot showroom is stocked, and it's a great time for people to come in and shop early. Right now, they have a great selection of beautiful Christmas-themed Mexican Talavera pottery, already at prices that you'll love. Mission Del Rey is located at 1421 North Lee Trevino Drive, Suite A7, and that's around the Lee Trevino and Pelicano. I always mess that one. Pelicano. And it's in the Quadra Business Center's best place to find it, or call them at 915-440-2140.
Very interesting store. If you haven't been there, check it out.
It's since they expanded it, it's amazing. And
It's a huge place now.
I know.
And it began as basically a fulfillment center for online.
Wow.
And now you can walk through their fulfillment area, and they spiffed it up quite a bit. It used to be kind of tight and small and cramped, but because they didn't care what it looked like. Now they do, and they've made it into a really great storefront.
Oh, it's wonderful.
We have a couple of minutes left in this hour, and why don't we do this? James, if you don't mind, start talking a couple of things, James Welsch, and do an overview, back up a bit and summarize the overview. We have the El Paso Symphony Orchestra, and then what about, and begin talking about some of the youth things. Let's interrupt you for the break.
No. So we're talking about the early history of the El Paso Symphony, certainly since it's been well established in the 30s. But actually, I'm looking here at my nifty thesis written by Gladys Williams, Master of Music, 1960, from the Texas Western College.
Oh, yes.
Right. And anyway, she did a lot of early work and basically doing a lot of the work that nobody wants to do, and that is looking at old newspaper clippings. Back when you had to go on microfiche and all that.
That'll take your brain away from you.
Right.
Wow. I mean,
I used to do that microfiche. I know.
I've seen that, and you can make it go up and down. You can make it go left and right.
And so do my eyes and my a little dizzying to think about it. But I'm looking here under other musical activities, and it would be important to also mention, because it's not just the El Paso Symphony here. For a very long period of time, the El Paso Symphony has been a part and parcel, a parental organization, an overarching umbrella organization for our youth who also are involved in music. So a third of the budget of the El Paso Symphony Orchestra Association is given over to not only its youth programs, which would be the El Paso Symphony Youth Orchestras, Tocando, which is an El Sistema-based modeled program.
Spell Tocando. What is that?
Tocando.
What does that mean?
Which means to play.
Oh.
To play. So these young people come after school and they get a little music instruction, get academic help. They basically learn how to develop discipline.
And they bring their own instruments, or
well, we provide instruments for them.
Oh.
We do everything for and with these kids. And so there's
I got to stop you and ask. If somebody's playing a horn, you have to bring your own horn piece that you blow in.
Their own mouthpiece. Well, or we'll have a dedicated mouthpiece and we'll just sanitize it.
Yeah, crank it up there with the sanitizer.
Love that alcohol when you first go back on your mouthpiece. It's like,
yeah, I got a buzz on that. Let me do the trombone again. I like that.
So what kind of alcohol you're using to sterilize?
Well, just
What all you got there?
It's got great flavor too. Anyway, so yeah, the Tocando program is something that is near and dear to us as well. In addition to this, the El Paso Symphony engages with all of the young people through symphony or strings in schools and brass in class. We also go to nursing homes and elderly care facilities to deal with that. And we also put on no less than six individual young people's concerts, which in the span of 45 minutes, it's amazing the energy that's generated. You mentioned before, and I, as a conductor for those shows, I mean, I don't know, I don't have unlimited energy.
Well, let me ask you: when you go into a home or somewhere of elderly, how many people go with you? I mean, you don't take that whole thing on the whole stage.
No, so we would take chamber groups, basically. So a group of maybe 5 brass players, 2 trumpets, a trombone, a horn, and a tuba. And maybe the strings would be a string quartet. So we try not to bring the whole kit and caboodle with us wherever we go.
Well, you'd fill the place up.
That's right.
Some may not come back out.
But our young people are very important to us, as they have been since. I'm looking here at Gladys Williams' thesis from 1960. The first concert for children under the auspices of the Musicians Union and the El Paso Herald. Children of the city were invited at no admission or charge. The El Paso Times sponsored the second children's concert given on December 13th, 1931. And that continued all the way to 1939 until the El Paso Symphony Orchestra started making this a thing that they were going to do. This was a part of their mission. And to this day, we still do that.
That's fantastic.
And when you go out and you ask for help from donors and such, you explain a lot of this stuff to them?
I hope they see it. Honestly, not much explanation is needed, but we'll share with them all of the cool things that we do. There are no less than 10 to 20 different educational component concerts each year.
All right, well, Rosemary, as we go to the break here, talk about what it takes or how do you do it? How do you get a donation into the symphony?
Oh, it's very easy. Someone just has to call us, or they can visit our website, epso.org, and donate online.
Phone number, real quick.
915-532-3776.
Rosemary Flores there. Thank you. We'll be back after the break and continue this discussion about the El Paso Symphony Orchestra. See you then.
Thank you for listening to the El Paso History Show. There's another hour to go, so please stay tuned. This hour is brought to you by Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, home of the one and only margarita. By Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. By Monterey Asset Management. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino, with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. We'll be right back after the news, right here on News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
Join Brian Birds of the Brian Birds Home Selling Team every Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. for real estate tips with Brian. The best in El Paso when it comes to selling. Brian is an expert in real estate. Listen every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. on KTSM AM 690 for tips on buying or selling your home, info on what's going on in the market today, and much, much more. Real estate tips with Brian every Sunday morning at 7:30 on KTSM AM 690.
Hey, El Paso and surrounding areas, are you ready for some savings? Ivan Ochoa, General Manager from Sunland Park, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat. Right now, we're paying top dollar for all trades, plus 0% financing for 72 months on several models. There's never been a better time to trade or upgrade for less.
During Jeep Adventure Days, Sunland Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat will take any trade in any condition, regardless of make or model, car, truck, or SUV. We want it, even if you owe up to $10,000 more than your old car is worth, so you can drive home a new or certified pre-owned vehicle. people for less. Save thousands in interest with 0 APR for 72 months. Plus, save thousands at the all-new Sun Park Dodge Certified Pre-Owned Super Center. Our inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs has never been better. All military personnel and all first responders receive an additional discount. Thank you for your service. Sun Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. We're buying a car. It's fun. At I-10 and Sun Park Drive or online at sunparkdodge.com. Estamos en tu esquina en Paso, El Paso Strong. Includes factory rebate and dealer discount plus TTNL. 0 APR is $13.72 per thousand financed. On select vehicles with approved credit. Offers not combined.
Are you obsessed with true crime? Join Leah Lamar and Teddy Mellencamp for Real Time Crime, an iHeartRadio original podcast dedicated to armchair detectives. Embark on a quest to unravel unsolved mysteries and delve into current criminal trials in real time.
Why do I obsess over true crime? It's because I need to know every detail because they say that the devil's in the details.
Listen to Real Time Crime on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Brought to you by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo.
NBC News Radio, I'm Julie Ryan. President Biden is taking a victory lap after the House passed his $1 trillion infrastructure bill. In remarks at the White House today, Biden called it a monumental step and long overdue. The bill contains over $550 billion in new spending over 5 years to improve roads, bridges, railways, and broadband. Biden said he will hold a signing ceremony soon, but it wouldn't be this weekend. The Build Back Better Act is advancing in the House. President Biden's $1.7 trillion safety net package cleared a procedural vote in the House early Saturday. The final vote was 221 to 213, with President Biden saying he's confident the bill will pass before the Thanksgiving holiday. At least 8 people are dead after a packed crowd surges during a sold-out music festival in Houston. Brian Gann reports from Texas.
It happened at the Astroworld Festival in Houston's Energy Park during a performance by rapper Travis Scott.
The crowd began to compress towards the front of the stage, and that caused some panic, and it started causing some injuries. People began to fall out, become unconscious, and it created additional panic.
Houston Fire Chief Sam Pena says over 300 people were treated at a field hospital set up near the festival.
About a dozen states are suing the Biden administration to block its new COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Under the federal guidelines, workers must be vaccinated or get tested weekly. Companies with at least 100 employees have until January 4th to comply. There's another delay for the SpaceX Crew 3 launch. Officials in Florida say weather conditions have forced another postponement. NASA is also planning for the return of Crew 2, with the earliest return trip from the space station on Sunday or Monday. Mission teams will decide which team to prioritize in the coming days, depending on conditions for a splashdown or a launch. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, this is Chief Meteorologist Sandra Diaz. So we do have a very nice weekend ahead of us, but that's only if you are a fan of warmer temperatures, because we will see the return of highs in the lower 80s. Just keep in mind those nights remain pretty chilly with overnight temperatures. They'll be in the lower 50s. But as we get through next week, we will see another weather maker arriving to wrap up the work week.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and Navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug. It's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Listen, could Robert change your life?
At the age of 55, I started putting on weight, and I got to the weight of about 210 pounds. Always hungry. The heavier I got, the less energy I had. And about 6 months ago, I started taking the Andro 400, and I started realizing I had more energy. I felt better, and my mind was clearer, and I started losing weight. I went from my max weight was 215, and now I'm down to 176. My waist size has dropped from a 38 to a 32, and I've lost these big love handles that I had on my side, and I just look a lot slimmer.
Since 2004, Andro 400 has helped men lose belly fat, gain energy, and to look and feel their best. Go to andro400.com for more true testimonials, before and after photos, and special discounts. Only available on andro400.com. andro400.com.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
News Radio 690 KTSM presents the second hour of the El Paso History Show with documentary filmmaker Jackson Polk and historian Melissa Sargent. Streaming live at KTSMradio.com. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. By Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, home of the one and only margarita. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. By Monterey Asset Management. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino, with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. And now, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
And we got hour 2 upon us now, and we're going to start with El Paso History Moment, produced and written by Melissa Sargent for the El Paso History Alliance page. Her story today is about actress Sarah Bernhardt.
The divine Sarah almost becomes a divine jailbird. Renowned French actress Sarah Bernhardt, on her last world tour, made her first and only El Paso stage appearance April 1911. She held 2 performances to sold-out crowds at the opulent Crawford Theater. With her performance in El Paso successfully behind her now, and despite warnings by El Paso authorities, Sarah decides to go to Juarez, which is amid a revolution. The New York Times details of Sarah and her entourage's visit to Juarez are limited and unexciting. But Sarah's return to the U.S. via Santa Fe Bridge is anything but boring. To the U.S. Customs Inspector, Madame Sarah Bernhardt looked like any other tourist returning from a shopping trip to Juarez. Bernhardt had purchased a large amount of precious Mexican stones and fire opals while there. The inspector was advising her of the duties due on these precious stones when Bernhardt said in a loud voice, no, she would not pay such ridiculous fines. And the back and forth argument began between her and the inspector until her manager, Mr. Connor, paid the duties just before the inspector was about to arrest Bernhardt. After all was said and done, the last thing the inspector heard was Bernhardt storming away, chattering in indignant French at anyone who would glance her way. More history next week on the El Paso History Moments. I'm Melissa Sargent for the El Paso History Alliance.
You done good there.
Oh, thank you. Yes, sir. I've always liked Sarah Bernhardt. She was quite the amazing actress and yet quite temperamental. I love the part where she's going off in French, chattering like, and everybody's like, what? Anybody would stop and look at her. She would complain about what they'd done to her at the crossing.
Can you imagine her arguing with the guards at the Juarez
No.
bridge?
Fiery French. That's us fiery French, you know. And if you want even more great information and history about El Paso and the area's history, then visit these 2 Facebook pages. The El Paso History Alliance is a group of historians who promote the architectural history and culture of El Paso and is managed by Max Grossman and Mark Stone. And remember in El Paso with thousands of pictures, stories, and much more, and it's managed by Barbara Given-Bainey and her team of volunteer editors for that page.
And they do a lot of work there. She is the chief admin. She has Margaret Smith, Rick Duncan, Ken Weiss, Craig Hayes, Rick Nahua, and Isaac Williams working with her. And that's an interesting group of people as well. They do a lot of work. So we're talking about El Paso Symphony Orchestra, and the idea, I think we're going to get a call from your executive director at a moment here.
Yes, we are.
And we are. And so what we have here is Rosemary Flores is in the house, Dr. James Welsch, otherwise known as James, the James. And till we hear from Rosemary, till we hear from
Ruth Ellen.
Ruth Ellen. Yeah, take a look at where you've been and where you want to go here on more of the youth programs that you've got, because you've got quite a few.
We do. Basically, beginning at the same time that I arrived here in El Paso, which was 2016, we began expansion of our youth programs to sort of provide something number one, for the young people to be able to experience music in different ways, culturally and beyond, and also to expand our outreach to our community at large. And so, what do I mean by that? We began a binational youth orchestra, played with young people on both sides of the Rio Grande. With our good friends from what was formerly known as Esperanza Azteca, which is a youth orchestra based in Sierra Juarez. We take young members from the El Paso Symphony Youth Orchestras and Esperanza Azteca, and we form something called the Orquesta Filarmónica Juvenil Mexico USA, or the Bridge Orchestra. And the idea and the design of this is to expand throughout the Southwest and to basically hit everybody with musical love. And that is essentially what I think not only we're really focused on with the youth programs, but also with El Paso Symphony, is really expanding the reach of what it is that we're able to accomplish through our music throughout the Southwest as a whole.
It'd be interesting having a program like this that would run along the border from McAllen, Brownsville, here, San Diego, Yuma, all those areas across the border, and have two concerts. That'd be great.
That concert that James conducted, the very first concert of the Bridge, was quite spectacular, emotional, special. It was in January.
January of 2017.
2017. It was just beautiful.
Andrew, I think you mentioned
children
that
from all,
you had an experience with this when you were in middle school.
Yeah, specifically, it was Grie Aikal who came in back in my middle school orchestra there at Ornado Middle School, which is now the Franklin 9th Grade Center. Personal history there. But he came in and sat with us and conducted us there for a bit there. I think we got his picture up here on the social media as well. He was an interesting guy. Kept accusing us of doing an impression of Turkish music because we were doing too long on our stops. And then, and he wanted us to be very much more precise and, orchestral with it, which we were sixth graders. So, cut us some slack, man.
You did what you could. He did what he could,
I can see that one. I can just see this. I can see him doing that.
As James mentioned, education is important. And I would say about 98% of our musicians are educators in the schools, whether they be, in public school, private school, or university level.
So that's their day job.
That's their day job.
Uh-huh.
We are what you call a per-service orchestra. We are not a full-time orchestra. And what that means is that every time the orchestra gets together, whether it be a rehearsal or performance, they get paid for that, those hours. But they are not paid on a full-time basis. So they all have other jobs. But I would say about 98% of them, are educators. And that's really important,
As the operations manager, that's your job to figure all that out. Who gets paid what when?
Everything. Everything. Coffee. Remember, don't forget coffee Monday morning.
Right. Yeah. So it's really important. And we have, orchestra members that have been with us for 51 years. We were talking in a break about Rick Lambert.
Yeah, Rick Lambert. From Coronado.
Let's get to some of the people like him in just a minute. We have on the phone here Ruth and Jacobson. Good morning. How are you?
Hi. How are you guys?
Good morning.
Sorry to miss this.
Oh, well, yeah, you're in Colorado or somewhere like that, right?
Yes, and it's really nice here. The weather's fabulous.
Oh, good for you.
I thought it was going to be cold.
Well, I don't know if you heard much of the program here, but have you been a chance to listen on one of the forums?
No, I haven't.
Well, let's just ask you your overview, because we've kind of been through quite a bit of the history. And what is your take on why people should get involved in the orchestra?
Oh, my goodness. El Paso needs an orchestra. Otherwise, we would be like a little ranchito. We're a major tourist attraction for the city and improve the quality of life. So for our when companies move to El Paso, they always ask the realtors if there's an orchestra, because that represents that the city has a cultural community,
Sure.
A community that likes the arts. So it's important for any community to have a strong arts community in their community. But symphonies kind of represent that. When you move to a place, if they have a symphony, then they have lots of other things too.
Ruth, what drew you to being involved with the symphony?
Long time ago, when I first went to work there, the board hired me because I was an accountant, a CPA, and they felt like the orchestra needed some business people, to be involved in management along with the conductor and the orchestra.
As you sit in a concert, what are you thinking? I mean, you do a lot of work behind the scenes, obviously, but what are your thoughts when you're sitting in a concert?
Oh gosh, by the time I sit in the concert, I'm so proud because I've been to all the rehearsals. I've seen it grow. So for me, it's just a thrilling moment. Our last concert that we had with the Requiem I watched it build like layers. First, they started with just the orchestra. Then they added the choir. Then they added the singers. And so by the time Friday night opened, it was this magical, beautiful, wonderful piece of music. And it's very emotional when you see it that way. It's like a ball, it evolves all week. So when I sit there, I'm really proud.
Makes it worth all that hard work.
We may have people in the audience who are not familiar with it. What would you tell people that don't really understand what we're talking about, or maybe just for the first time really getting into it on this radio show? What would you tell them about what they should expect and why they should get involved?
Well, they should expect a wonderful evening of beautiful music, some of it that's been played for hundreds of years. Live orchestra music there's just nothing like it. And so I think they can expect to have a great evening of music. And people have been coming back to our concerts in droves. We've had some really good audiences since COVID. So I think they're hungry for it.
What are some of the... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, what are some of the recent events you've had that drew a crowd?
Well, this Requiem we did drew a big crowd. We've only been back for 2 months now. We started in September, and then this October concert. So we didn't know what to expect in September. We didn't know people would come back, if they would be willing to sit in the audience together. We just didn't know. And we were so surprised to see that we had, no problems. That it was just almost like, I don't want to say normal, but like normal.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, it's great.
People were starving for entertainment at that point, live entertainment, being able to get out and see things. And
You provide a great item for them to do that.
Well, and I can say, especially coming out of a very weird year and a half dealing with young people who are trying very hard to stay motivated, and musicians wondering when we're going back, to see a line of people waiting outside of the will call box in September to hear Gershwin.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful thing, and for El Paso, it definitely points to there being a need and a desire to experience that communal music making.
And Gershwin, I think, was a wonderful way to bring people back to that, because Gershwin's music is just, well, people remember it from movies and all, but his music was always pretty much up and moving and just very joyful.
Yeah, and it was the Rhapsody in Blue.
Oh, my favorite.
That was really special. And the applause. Oh my gosh, the applause was incredible.
So, Ruthelle, any other thoughts from you this morning?
No, I just want people, if people haven't tried us, to come out, and we're 90 years old. I hope you guys discussed all of that our wonderful history.
Yes.
Because El Paso has a lot to be proud of.
Fair enough. Well,
Come try it.
all right. Well, thanks for bringing it up. Good to talk to you.
Enjoy Colorado.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
You take care. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye bye. Interesting thoughts there from, and she's your executive director.
Yes, she
and you have quite a team going on there. You have a lot of people behind the scenes.
We wear lots of hats.
We
Rosemary, Rosemary knows.
Fair enough.
And it takes a lot of effort in order to make one thing happen.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of you coming together for the common cause.
Yeah.
Well, we're a small group, really. The operations part of it. We have an executive director. There's me. We have a ticket manager, a business person, and a grant writer, and that's it. We're 5 people, and then we have the youth component and their staff, and there are only 2 really full-time people and a part-time person. So we're actually a very small staff, and we do a lot of things. Operations, marketing.
Sure.
I'm at the box office selling tickets, working at Will Call.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the lobby at intermission,
Rosemary's
selling season tickets.
helping to design my program
I'm
because
doing-
she's much
Yes.
better at publisher than I am.
Yeah.
You guys, you do.
So we do a
you
little
do
bit
work
of
hard.
everything.
You
We're
sure do.
Jacks of all trades.
We're going to take a break here and come back after the break and talk maybe more about some of the individual people that you have. You got a large organization under you.
We do.
Part-timers, I guess you'd say.
Yeah,
Fair
our
enough.
musicians, right.
All right. Anything new on social media from either one of you?
This is interesting. Jim Lotchpeak, I think I want to pronounce his name, is hello, everyone. He says, interesting history today. My part in the El Paso Symphony Orchestra was principal tuba during Maestro Barrera. My dad, Jay Quinn Lotchpeak, was principal double bass before Al Peterson took over, and the Abraham Chavez was principal violin during that time. My uncle Al was playing cello after I joined the Navy
What a
unit
crew,
band.
huh?
Navy unit's band. And it says his cousin Jesse Lotchpeak played tuba there, and it was his professor at Texas Western College.
Interesting.
So-
stuff. Anything to add, Andrew? Or you find you got it all? All right, fair enough. Taking a break here on the El Paso History Radio Show. Back in just a moment.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his Legacy Home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
Monterey Asset Management is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, maybe you should invest in real estate. Monterey Asset manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the new website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca, 915-592-4549, 592-4549.
Ready to win cash? Yes! It's $1,000. A grand in your hand.
Oh my God!
Win $1,000 every hour. At least 12 chances every weekday. A grand in your hand. Your chance to win is on the way.
A grand in your hand is brought to you by the Charlie Clark Automotive Group.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2073. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today and call 800-575-2073. That's 800-575-2073. Or you can visit us online at tra.com.
Are you obsessed with true crime? Join Leah Leah Lamar and Teddy Mellencamp for Real-Time Crime, an iHeartRadio original podcast dedicated to armchair detectives. Embark on a quest to unravel unsolved mysteries and delve into current criminal trials in real time.
Why do I obsess over true crime? It's because I need to know every detail because they say that the devil's in the details.
Listen to Real-Time Crime on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Brought to you by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo.
I'm Brenda Connor, identity theft victim.
No, I'm Brenda Connor.
Too bad it's hard to tell which Brenda is real.
That's what you think. I've got LifeLock to monitor my info and alert me to potential identity threats. And if I become a victim, they help fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock can help protect what's mine. How about that, Brenda? Thought so.
Join LifeLock by Norton and save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com with promo code NEWS.
Did you know that you might be overpaying for your prescriptions? It's okay because there's an easy, convenient solution. Check GoodRx. GoodRx lets you compare prices at different pharmacies and shows you where to get the lowest price. Here's Joe, a doctor and GoodRx customer.
I was able to look up some medicines that I was going to get, and it saved me a good amount of money.
GoodRx is helping millions of people, and it can help you too. For simple, smart savings, check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance. In 2020, GoodRx users saved an average of 79% off retail prices. Individual compensated for their time. Visit GoodRx.com/radio to learn more.
News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. By Monterey Asset Management. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
A lot going on. Let you know who's coming in here. Next week, we have on November 13th, El Paso musician and recording artist Terry Manning. And he is both a star in his own right, and he's also worked for a lot of stars. Interesting to hear what his story is. And also he's coming in with Talking Rock Radio host Rick Kern, and we'll follow the recording career of Terry and find out how El Paso has a world-class recording artist living here. That's next week. Okay, following that on the 20th, David Varela, he's a concierge at the El Paso Del Norte Hotel, and I've asked him to come in and explain we talked about the hotel before, but also from his viewpoint, he gets to see a lot of things other people don't. And we're going to ask him his opinion. Coming in with Bernie Sargent, and they're going to take us on a detailed tour of the new hotel from an insider viewpoint. And then on November 27th, that's the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. That's Saturday. We're going to repeat the Leon Metz tribute from a year ago, thinking that might be just a nice, fair idea. People love to hear Leon. So, all right, back into the program here. Also, we have a caller on the phone here named Jorge. Jorge, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Hanging in there, sir. What's on your mind?
I'm calling you from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn.
Fabulous. How's it
I
going?
live out here. It's a happy place.
Good for
But
you.
I'm calling you because my cousin, you're speaking about the El Paso Symphony. My mother's cousin, her husband was a violinist for the symphony. His name was Wesley Heydrich, and he worked a long time with the various conductors who conducted the symphony. And I believe one of them was Abraham Chavez, for whom the music hall there along Santa Fe is named for. He worked under his direction.
So that touched your heart, and you decided you better let us know about that, huh?
Yeah, I better let you all know.
From
You
Brooklyn.
might all be wondering how come I hadn't been calling you all these months. Well, the reason is that after I got involved in that last contest of 2020, I came out, I left, and I came out here, and I've been here since.
Well, good for you here. Glad to talk to
I
you.
listen to you occasionally on my telephone.
Excellent. Well, thanks for ringing up. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for checking back in with
Good
us.
to talk to you.
Thank you.
All right. You take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, Jorge. Interesting to
Brooklyn.
hear from him. He moved to
From
Brooklyn.
El Paso to Brooklyn.
Well, that's another. A lot of people don't go that direction. They go-
I've been to Brooklyn. It's a different town. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
that. It's full of interesting people. It really is. I mean that honestly. It's a great place.
Anyway, back to the history of the El Paso Symphony Orchestra. Where were we? We were going somewhere. I don't know.
Well, I think we were heading towards maybe answering all the questions that you may have always wanted to ask about a symphony, but never knew who to ask about it.
They're here.
They're here, and maybe a great way to start this off, since there's so much history in regards to the El Paso Symphony. Maybe we can talk about some of our long-standing performers with the El Paso Symphony, because we have people who are career musicians with our orchestra, and we're so grateful to them, and they're part of a longer lineage.
Well, you got a whole lot of people you
Yeah.
can describe. We can get
do.
started on that. We may have another call coming here in a minute, but the thing is, you've got people who are primarily musicians in their day job, aren't you?
Right.
Right.
So they're teachers. They might be private teachers. They might work for a school district. They might work at the college. They might not have anything to do with music other than the time that they come together here with El Paso Symphony. So
All right, hold on to one of that. We do have a caller, and Dan has a question. Dan, good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning.
Morning.
One of the players, Kenny Capshaw, he was a high school band director at Coronado. My son had the privilege of being and playing in his band along with Robert Booth. And Mr. Capshaw made a tremendous impact on my son and hundreds, maybe thousands of students. And I know that at one time y'all were going to have a special recognition for him retiring from the symphony. But then COVID showed up. Is the symphony going to have a concert where they could possibly recognize him? You know, they have a street named after him in the Northwest El Paso. I didn't know if you guys knew that or not.
Yeah.
They sure do, but I can tell you, Kenny's still playing with El Paso Symphony right now, and maybe because
he's going to have to wait then.
because he's waiting. We're not letting him go yet.
He hasn't retired.
He retired, but nobody told him.
That's right.
He's been performing for 46 years with the El Paso
Wow, that's a
Symphony.
long time.
Don't tell him he's still
No.
playing.
So I know for sure though that even if Kenny were to retire from playing trumpet full time with the symphony, he'd still be back to play all these other shows.
Yeah.
And the lineage that you've mentioned there is deep. We certainly understand. Kenny's touched my heart in just 5 years of having lived here, and I know him and his family is. They're a long list of music teachers and just wonderful people. We definitely understand that.
Right.
He's currently also, from what I understand, he's in charge of the jazz band at UTEP. So he hasn't retired. He's still playing, and I know that he's contract playing and stuff like that. So, but anyway, I just really appreciate him and the impact he had on my son, and what a delightful person he is, and how the symphony has made an impact in my family is really appreciated.
That's a great testimonial right there. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
We don't catch.
Anything else from you? All right. All right. Thanks for.
And he also played trombone, Jackson.
There you go. Bring your own spit thing.
Well, and not to mention how many kids' souls and lives he touched just through elementary school programs of music, because
Right.
he had his music store where kids rented their instruments,
That's right.
bought their
Capshaw
instruments.
Lisa.
That's
So
a
I
big
mean,
name.
he went beyond in
Oh,
many
yeah.
areas along those
You
lines.
know,
He had
and
a-
his dad, Ross Capshaw. I mean,
Yeah.
the theater at Coronado High School is named after him.
That's
Ross-
right.
The Ross Capshaw Auditorium.
Yeah.
His sister Ida Stedman played
Ida.
with the symphony for many years. Now she had retired,
Mhm.
but she was our principal cellist. So
Yeah.
But she's still like everybody,
Yeah.
like all the other Capshaws and Stedmans. They can't just stop.
You
They
gotta keep
have to
going.
keep
Long
going.
family
Well, Dan-
lineage,
That's right.
yeah.
Dan, thanks for ringing up. Do appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Dan.
You take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Interesting history there that touching people all over the place. Fabulous. You take a break here on the El Paso Vista Radio Show. Any other social media things going on
Well,
there?
Jim Lopstitch, that he had it. His nieces also are ones teaching from, again, that long family lineage, like the Capshaws. And a lot of people don't realize how that musical families,
Mhm.
amazing the things they can do and teach their kids, and how many rock stars came out of musical symphony families.
Yeah, music touches a lot of people
Yeah.
in the right way.
Yes.
Taking a break here on the El Paso History Radio Show. Back in just a moment.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso.
Have you thought about getting dental implants?
Has someone told you that implants cost $3, $4, $5, $6,000 a tooth? Here's something much better to think about. Affordable dental implants from 1995implants.com. The El Paso dental office where beautiful, top quality, long-lasting dental implants are as low as $1,995 per tooth. That price includes the implant, abutment, and crown, which many other places charge extra for. At 1995implants.com, we also offer a free consultation, free standard x-rays, and convenient financing. 1995implants.com. You're going to love your new smile, and your friends and family will be telling you how great you look. Best of all, your dental implants are very affordable if you come to 1995implants.com. For more information, see our website, 1995implants.com. That's 1995implants.com. Se habla español.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug, it's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
There's confusion about how to protect yourself from COVID, but one thing is for sure. Whether or not you're vaccinated, you need an accurate thermometer. Contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever, the leading sign of COVID and the flu. Only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Be vigilant and don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They have no scientific studies behind them and can miss the fever that might mean COVID. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Talk El Paso is going daily. Join host Andrew J. Polk weekdays at 4 with the Borderlands' only live local talk radio show, breaking down the impact of the news and taking your calls. That's Talk El Paso live Monday through Friday at 4 right here on News Radio 690 KTSM.
Sponsorship and advertising opportunities are also available. To find out on how you can affordably reach an affluent and highly educated demographic, please call iHeartMedia at 915-351-5473. That's 915-351-5473.
El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. By Monterey Asset Management. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
This week, go to El Paso Inc. and find the latest in El Paso business news.
A prominent Sunset Heights mansion in disrepair has a new owner and a big historic renovation plan.
Health officials in El Paso have seen a spike in mental health crises in children and adolescents.
Businesses on Donovan and West El Paso have been in a smelly situation for months now. I can contest to that.
El Paso Business Journal, El Paso Inc. is available for home or business delivery.
To receive El Paso Inc., order it online at elpasoinc.com.
And be sure to tune in to ABC 7 Extra Sunday nights at 10:35 p.m. All right, the history at hand here is the El Paso Symphony. We were going to talk about some individual members and who they are and what they do in the community when they're not in the symphony.
Yeah. So we've already talked about Kenny. We got a call about Kenny Capshaw. But we have some people who've been with us for quite some length of time. Rosemary, you've got the list of folk here. And many of these people are names that in one way, shape, or form, if you were involved in music over the last 40 years or more, you would have seen some of these as your orchestra or band directors, or they might have been your general music teacher.
And so when it comes time to go back into the schools, you have a ready path
Yeah.
to get there.
There's a lineage still there, very much at work and play. The mantle's been passed from person to person, but some of these buildings are still named after some of these people, you know?
That's right.
So, Rosemary, who do we got?
Well, just in our horn section, my goodness, Rick Lambrick has been with the symphony for over 50 years, 55 to be exact.
And Rick taught at Coronado as well.
Right.
Right.
He plays the French horn and also bass. Oh, I can't remember. He
If
plays
he-
another, but he plays.
But with the
Well, let
symphony,
him keep
he's a
going.
horn-
Yeah.
French
Yeah.
horn player. John Groves in our horn section, 40 years. Nancy Joy, 29 years. Mary Mendez, 35 years. That's just our horn section, you know. We've had Diana Gilliland, who taught at El Paso High School, the orchestra, El Paso High, yeah.
And Wiggs Middle.
And Wiggs Middle, and she's been with us for 40 some years. So, you know, we have musicians that have been with us for a long time, and we also have new musicians. And maybe James maybe people want to know how you become a member of the El Paso Symphony.
Is that a good place to go? I think. I mean, people often wonder, how do you put an orchestra together? Or how do you end up in an orchestra? Maybe you didn't. You're going to hear it anyway.
Are there tryouts, that kind of thing?
Yeah, there is. There are
That would
tryouts,
help.
but when we're talking about semi-professional or even professional symphonies, even amateur orchestras, there's something called the audition. And what does that entail? Well, at the very base level, these people have studied their instruments for so long. They've studied specific types of pieces for orchestral playing. We call those excerpts. So excerpts from famous works that we would expect to hear them play in a professional group. And so we might have a list of excerpts that they prepare, and then they prepare a concerto movement for their instrument. And then maybe sometimes there's sight reading, or maybe there's an interview, but mostly it's an audition process where people come together, they present themselves best musically as they can, and then a panel, usually comprised of a conductor and musicians from within the orchestra, a committee of musicians who are tenured, established members in the orchestra, some who've been playing for very long, some who've been playing for only 2 or 3 years. Those members are voting members to either place those people as permanent musicians within an orchestra or probationary musicians that would say, we're going to take you on for a year, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah.
Is it a unanimous vote, or how does that work?
I don't know. It depends on the organization. Usually it's whoever gets the most votes. But most musicians, if we want to keep the peace, make a unanimous decision together to have these musicians come and be a part of their musical family.
Interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And some specific people you have to continue?
So yeah, we have. We're very excited about having our new acting concertmaster, Shannon Fitzhenry, who comes in each month from the Baltimore area. She comes all the way from Baltimore, and this is not unlike many musicians who are seeking high-level chairs within professional orchestras throughout the country. They may be based out of one place, but then every other week or so they're traveling someplace in order to have the opportunity to work as basically a gigging musician. It's still, nothing's changed there. Being a musician is going to be work, and it's going to take a lot of travel.
So they pay their own way to get here.
Either that or we negotiate that with management, but nonetheless, it's usually part of the package. We want you here as our concertmaster. We're going to pay you to come, and then we'll put you up. But you know, it's some things don't change.
But most of our musicians live in the area, whether they
correct.
be El Paso or Las Cruces.
That makes
They're-
sense.
Right, they're in the area. But we have a few, like Shannon, a harp player, comes from Albuquerque. Emily.
Oh, Emily.
Yeah.
Emily
There
Mitchell.
aren't that many harp players.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a
So,
lost art.
And then you have to carry a harp with you.
Can you imagine that in luggage?
I know.
You got to
right?
buy a seat for that thing.
Right.
And here's
She drives, thankfully.
Here's the funny thing. Most people who play harp and have to carry that instrument around with them have more than one harp.
Yeah, they have
Oh,
the
my
intermediate. then they
Yeah,
have
that's
the
right.
large
You know,
professional.
I'll take
yeah.
this one this time, you know. I don't mind if it gets nicked a little bit.
Good God.
I'm doing chambers, so I got the smaller one. Yeah.
So they drive a lot to their location.
Yeah, that's part of the life too.
Goodness gracious.
Somebody just added from Michelle Schlusser. She says Kenny Capshaw was marching band drum major at Burgess High School in the 1960s.
Wow.
Came with his hat.
And curiously enough, we have a conductor with our youth orchestras right now who teaches at Burgess High School now. So, I mean, there's this really interesting synergy.
Well, don't you think that teachers that practice within or play within a symphony are better teachers in the long run? I think because they're
so.
practicing.
They have a platform.
Yeah.
And it's important to have an orchestra because these teachers have a platform to perform.
Yes. They can show
And
the
it-
kids.
And
here.
it makes them a better musician, makes them a better teacher, I think. I truly believe that.
We got a couple of questions come in by phone. We're going to take a break here and come back and answer those. And we shall be back in just a moment on the El Paso History Radio Show.
Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina serves the old Griggs Mexican food recipes in a new location at 6761 Doniphan Drive. Enjoy great New Mexican food with cold beer and the one and only margarita from the cantina. The managers and cooks from the original Griggs restaurant serve tacos, combination plates, and sopapillas. Get the best Mexican food in the valley at Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina, 6761 Doniphan, near Loop 375. Call 877-2152.
Your life, your hopes, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m. It's really none of our business, and it shouldn't be anyone else's. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Hey, El Paso and surrounding areas, are you ready for some savings? Ivan Ochoa, General Manager from Sunland Park, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat. Right now, we are paying top dollar for all trades, plus 0% financing for 72 months on several models. There's never been a better time to trade or upgrade for less.
During Jeep Adventure Days, Sunland Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat will take any trade in any condition, regardless of make or model, car, truck, or SUV. We want it, even if you owe up to $10,000 more than your old car is worth, so you can drive home a new or certified pre-owned vehicle for less. Save thousands in interest with 0 APR for 72 months. Plus, save thousands at the all-new Sunland Park Dodge Certified Pre-Owned Super Center. Our inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs has never been better. All military personnel and all first responders receive an additional discount. Thank you for your service. Sunland Park Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. We're buying a car is fun at I-10 at Sunland Park Drive or online at sunlandparkdodge.com. Estamos en tu esquina, El Paso Strong. Includes factory rebate and dealer discount plus TTNL. 0 APR is $13.72 per thousand financed. On select vehicles with approved credit. Offers not combined.
Radio advertising can connect your business with holiday shoppers wherever they go. Use iHeart Ad Builder to create an affordable custom radio ad right on your phone. Just click, listen, approve, then hear it on the radio. Create your customized ad today at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k or IRA? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. Experts agree the 401k has been a dismal failure, and even the man who invented it now says it's a monster that should be destroyed. 401ks and IRAs have major dangers, including fees that gobble up 50% of your retirement savings over time. The government controls your money and changes the rules anytime they want, and it gets worse. History confirms we're past due for a major market crash that could wipe out 50% of your savings again. Now, a free report from Bank on Yourself reveals where the inventor of the 401k puts his money. You're 100% protected from crashes. There are no fee surprises, and you control your money, not the government. Plus, your withdrawals are tax-free, which protects your savings from being devoured by taxes that can only get more monstrous. So get your report now at freereportfast.com. That's freereportfast.com. freereportfast.com.
The free iHeart app has a radio station just for you. No, really, My Favorites Radio is tailored to fit you and only you. The only songs that play are the ones that you thumbed up, along with the biggest songs on the stations you listen to most. My Favorites Radio combines all your favorite music into one amazing station. Download the free iHeart app now and start tapping thumbs up on the songs, artists, and stations you like. Plus, you can even share the station with all your friends, just to prove your superior musical tastes. Favorites Radio, only on iHeart. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Doniphan Drive. By Monterey Asset Management. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Doniphan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
We got a number of announcements to give to you, and Melissa will have several. Just to let you know also, the Segundo Barrio National Register Historic District was established by the National Park Service on November 3rd.
Yay, finally.
And that's basically from Max Grossman. The new listing will not be formally published by the National Park Service on their website until November 15th. But up until November 3rd, there was only one building in the entire Barrio on the National Register of Historic Places. But now there are 686 individually listed and contributing properties. So yay.
Finally.
And you had some questions here.
Well,
when is the Concordia event?
Oh, I was going to follow up with this. Give me something else here first.
Okay, go ahead.
So all aboard with the Harvey Girls as they host an interesting program this Monday, November 8th at 2:30 p.m. inside the historic Union Passenger Station Depot at 700 West San Francisco Street. Prester Coop will share the exciting adventures of the Indian Detour Couriers of the Southwest at the Union, and this will be held again at the Union Passenger Station. And if you don't know who those were Harvey Girls. You always think of them in the restaurant serving. These girls, or ladies at that time, would go out in Navajo garb, traditional dress of the Navajo women, and would give tours all over the Southwest.
Oh, that's great.
So it was an amazing history. And I want to hear about that.
The Harvey crowd was something else.
Oh, yeah. Well, Harvey was quite the marketer. I'll give him that. He was a genius.
All right. And so we had another question here. What is the date for the Felipe Solis event there?
January 21 and 22.
And that's Zul Bailey in concert with
the El Paso Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, that'd be
It's
fabulous.
at 7:30 p.m. at the Plaza Theater.
Oh, and Concordia Cemetery. That was the other question.
Oh, yes.
It was the Dia de los Muertos Festival today from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 3700 Yandel Street inside Concordia Cemetery.
And the address for the cemetery is
3700 Yandel.
Yandel. So you got Yandel, Handel, Candle. There you go. Well, you got to be sure how you get that right.
I always get it wrong.
Well, we have a lot of complaints when I do get it wrong. So, all right, we'll get that's our last segment here. About to wrap this up here with the El Paso Symphony Orchestra. Just mention some of the people involved in your organization, some of the board members.
So it takes quite a community in order to essentially make sure that this is all possible, that this all can all happen. It's more than just the staff. It's more than just the musicians. We have a huge number of people who donate their time, their money, their resources, their energies in order to support what it is that we do. And they end up on our board of trustees and who are some of those people and what do they do in our community, Rosemary?
Oh my goodness. So we have doctors on our board. We have realtors on our board, lawyers, CPAs, just all walks of life, and our current chairman is Debbie Hand. She's a realtor. She was on our board previously. Was our chairman and she came back. We have, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember all their names, but
we have
Anita Warner was our past chairman. Who else?
We have Rosalia Beltran. We have Arlene Carroll at
She's
West
a
Star.
banker, right?
We have Ruben Hernandez.
Also a banker with Chase Bank.
Janet Wechter.
Right. She's a designer.
Right.
And
Secret
Janet
Wear It is our new
Secret, yeah.
With
From El Paso Inc. Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Right, yeah. Yeah. And so we have, the symphony has bylaws and it's an association. It's incorporated.
Yeah.
And so our board members serve 3 years. The most they can serve is 6 at a time, and then they have to get off the board and then come back, if they want to. And just like our musicians and our staff, it seems like there's a revolving door because people want to come back. It's a great organization.
It's great
and we
to have-
all work together really well.
And it's great to have people like those in those positions in banks and
Right.
marketing, like newspaper with ink and such, because they all have their part to contribute to help
They have
out.
resources that can
Yeah.
help the
Yeah, it
symphony
can help,
keep going.
especially, I guess, El Paso Inc. would be very helpful.
Mhm. And Carl Weiler, I think, was on our board.
Well,
too.
yeah, Carl Weiler is another whole case. What a character he was. And did you? I know he used to pretty much. He used to play the ukulele, I think,
And the clarinet.
and then you said the clarinet. I didn't know about that one. And he was actually one of the initial people getting the symphony off the ground back in the day when it was like 1930.
Right. I found this little article where he was helping a subscription drive.
Yeah.
And he obviously served on the board.
What was
and
interesting, though, to recap some of that history, he had it on his radio station, and Dorrance Roderick heard it and ended up becoming one of the major backers and donors
Right.
of the symphony originally. So, And you could use another couple of those, I would think.
We sure could.
Never turn them away.
Sure could.
And radio was still fairly new in those days when they started. So I think
Mhm.
Carl Weiler doing that.
It was a great venue, though, for the symphony.
For him and the
To
symphony.
get
you
on
know?
the get on the
To get
radio.
on the radio, exactly.
I mean, that's even prior to telephones becoming much of a thing, and
Right.
he was out there.
Yeah, and symphonies and jazz bands and things like that were big venues back on the radio back in that day because really TV had not come into its phase at that point.
Right.
No, TV was not even started till like the late 40s and
Well,
early
yeah,
50s in El Paso. So I know that's a great history, El Paso Symphony Orchestra. And any other thoughts as we wrap this up for the day?
Look, I think the important thing to mention as either a conductor, an operations manager, a board member, a musician, a young person who's going through our educational programs at any point and during any phase of our history here in El Paso is that we understand that at any one moment, we are just stewards of a really rich and amazing tapestry of people who had a great deal, in a lot of ways, more to do with things that meant more at that time. And El Paso took some time to really build the El Paso Symphony. But here we are, and ever since, still having remained relevant and viable and important to not only a culture and a people, but to the young people who will eventually fill our halls, who have an experience with this, who understand that symphonic music is more than just going to a concert. It's a great deal more interesting and more important than that. I mean, in a lot of ways, if we look back as to why the Women's Club or clubs like the McGinty Club would have tried to have started even then, back in the 1800s, the reason for that was not just to hear better quality entertainment. It was a yearning, a need, and a desire to experience humanity in all of its many forms. And I think it is a true testament to the real beauty of orchestral music when it's still here today and still means as much as it did from its inception.
Well, thank you guys for doing what you do
Thank
and keeping it going. And also Ruth Ellen Jacobson. And it's been interesting hearing about this history. I wasn't sure where this was going to go because I don't really know the history. It's very, very interesting to hear all the contributions of people from everywhere. And also comparing to other cities, El Paso's doing pretty good.
It is.
I'd like to say, we've got people who come to our concerts. That's great.
Yeah, that's
and next weekend we have 160 kids coming together to perform.
Oh, great.
The Youth Symphony.
4 orchestras.
December,
and
we
where-
got Christmas is coming, a Christmas program.
And where will that be?
So we'll be at the Abraham Chavez Theater with the youth orchestras on November 14th, 3 p.m. And tickets can be purchased on the epso.org website or at the youth orchestra's website. Previous number mentioned, same place, same information,
915-532-3776.
And then shortly thereafter, after we're hearing all these young people who are finally resilient in coming out of the pandemic and presenting live music for the first time in a long time, we have Home for the Holidays on December 3rd and 4th.
Excellent.
Just a fun family concert.
Well, Rosemary, Flores, I want to thank you for coming in here and making this happen today. And James Welsh, appreciate your time. Thank you all very much. See you all next week.
This is fun.
Next week on the El Paso History Radio Show.
Thank you for listening to the El Paso History Show. We hope you'll join us again next Saturday morning, 10 to noon, and be sure to